You are listening to Written in the Stars, Books and Beyond, where hosts from the LCC Library sit down with writers, publishers, entrepreneurs, and literary enthusiasts of all types. Join your hosts, Amy Ewald, Robin Moore, John Salaigi, and Abby Tebow as we explore the very heart of the written word. Welcome to Written in the Stars, Books and Beyond. I'm Abby Tebow, and besides me is my co-host, Robin Moore.
Hello.
Today, we are joined by Rob Edwards and Erin Bartels, who've joined us to discuss a rally of writers. Erin is a 3-time Michigan Notable Book Award winner and is a keynote speaker this year. Rob is a video producer, author, and current president of a rally of writers.
Howdy.
Hi. So, a little bit more. A Rally of Writers is Michigan's largest and longest-running writers' conference. It will convene for the 38th time on April 12th, 2025 at LCC's West Campus. So welcome, Erin and Rob. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
To start off, can you tell us each a little bit about your background as writers?
My background as a writer? Yes. I learned a lot, actually, from Erin through the Capital City Writers Association. And I also was a rally goer back in the day and learned a lot through rally as well. And I have published 5 books, indie published 5 books. And but I still can't keep up with what Erin's doing. So that's my background. And now I'm current president of Rally.
Righty.
Yeah, and I don't know where to start with mine because I work for a publisher and I have since I was 22. So I've been involved in publishing for a very long time. But yeah, as a writer, I've been interested in writing my own books probably since I started working on other people's.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been in the Capital City Writers Association for a while. I've gone to Rally I don't know how many times. And I've been very happy to... What's that?
At least 3 now.
I think it's more than that. I think that it's really nice to be able to speak there as well. So this will be my first keynote address. So I'm really excited to have been asked.
It sounds like an exciting event. So tell us a little bit more about a rally of writers. Rob, sounds like you're the president, right?
I am the president.
Yes.
I am the president. A Rally of Writers has been around since the 80s. This is its 38th year, as you said. And it was started by a faculty member here plus writers around the community. And they took it for 30 plus years. This will be my 4th year as president. Well, 6th actually, but my first 2 years, all I did was cancel it. We bring in writers from all over Michigan. We just feature Michigan writers.
Okay.
And there's a lot of Michigan writers. Some really successful ones too, not just Erin. And they love to just come in and teach. They teach sessions on genre, on craft, on poetry. Last year we started a special track that was just craft, the craft of writing for beginning writers, you know. And that was in the auditorium at West Campus, and it was just packed all day long. This year we're having the craft track, and we've also added a separate track for just poetry. So we had a lot of poets last year. Last year our keynote speaker was Nandi Comer, who is the Michigan's first poet laureate in 67 years or some crazy number.
Amazing.
Yeah. And she was great.
Wow.
She was great. So
it sounds like an exciting event. It does.
Yeah. What type of things can attendees this year expect?
Well, they can expect to hear from one of the best writers because I don't know if you're familiar with Erin's work, but she's published like 5 books.
6.
6?
Yes.
And she has a 50% Michigan Notable Book Award rate. So this is great. People have tried for this and have not won one, and she just keeps knocking them off.
Yeah.
But her books are great. This book, I think everyone should read, period. It's just a phenomenal book about Detroit.
Oh, I love the D.
We hope for better things.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my debut novel.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. What about the lady with the dark hair?
That's the one that won this year. The Lady with the Dark Hair is a dual timeline story. Some of mine are dual timeline or multiple timelines, and that one is. And it takes place, actually, part of it takes place in East Lansing in the present. And then in the past, it begins in southern France and kind of goes in several different places, Paris, Gibraltar. And it's about art and artists and women and their identity and, kind of paving your own way and all of the things that you let hold you back externally and internally. So,
okay, two snaps in a circle. That's perfect for March, Women's History
it sure
Month.
is, isn't it?
Yes.
In fact, you're coming to the reading?
I am. I'm going to be at the reading.
I'll see you there. I read last year.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So look, we get all excited about it. Sorry, Rob.
I may be there.
Yes, I want you to read.
I could read.
I know.
I'll bring one of Erin's books and read.
Well, don't bring that one because I'm bringing that one.
And then what's that next book? Everything is just beginning.
Yes, that actually won the Michigan Notable Book last year. So I was speaking about that a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
That one is set. I really remember in 1989, the end of 1989 to 1990 as being a very hopeful time. And that's when it's set. It's like the end of one year. New Year's Eve is when it starts. And that might be because I was very young and it seemed very hopeful, but it felt like the world was changing in really good ways at that time. And I wrote most of that book during 2020. So it was a really fun time to not be focused on like modern life.
Yes.
And I listened to nothing but 80s music the whole year I was writing it. And it's about a couple musicians and where you find your worth as an artist and things like that.
Sounds great. It does. Yeah.
Were you writing songs for that?
Yeah. I started doing some songwriting and recording, not like professionally, but like recording because it's about musicians. So I thought, well, they're going to have songs that they write. So I started learning how to do that. And there's a little hidden web page for people who have read the book where they'll know the password and they can get in and see a lot of video of those songs recorded, and there's a karaoke video even. And
wow. Look at Rob's excited. He's like,
it's like, I should have read
that one. So what sessions are you all excited about for this year? Rob, I'll ask you that.
I am actually very excited that Erin's going to be the keynote. I think that's when I announced that online, there was a lot of excitement. Erin has been, I won't say a staple, but we've relied on her for the last several rally sessions. She does one that is like a fan favorite called The First Page. And she's so good at it. So people will bring in the first page that she wrote, and her as an editor and being in the publishing business, she knows what a first page should be like. And she will just tear them up.
No, I do not. I'm very nice. No, they'll stand up, they'll volunteer. Nobody's forcing them to do this.
Thank God.
And they read their first page. And I try to find the things that really work. And then if there's anything where I feel like something's missing that would make me want to turn to the next page, agents, especially if somebody's trying to get a literary agent, they have to go through things so quickly. You have to get their attention immediately. And even when you're self-publishing, you need to do that because people can see inside the book before they buy it. Do I really want this? So it's trying to find what is most compelling that they can get on that first page to keep people looking.
I know you could talk to a publisher at a rally of writers when I think they said they read the first 10 pages. Or,
it depends. It all depends
10
on the agent or the publisher. Somebody might read just your query and decide it's not for them. They won't read any pages. Or somebody will read the first 10 pages and they'll think, well, I want to read more. So it's all about making everything as close to perfect as you can get it before you start sending it out to people. So that it ups your chances that you'll actually get read.
Yeah, writers need you, Erin. They do. And they need you to tear them up so they can get to the next level.
I'm truly not mean.
No, she does not.
Constructive criticism is what it is.
And it's very, very kind.
Yes.
In fact, if I have noticed that in the writing community, everybody's kind because you write something down and then you have to stand up and put it out like in a writer's group. You know, if writers get together and here's what I've written, tell me what you think. Yeah. It's very golden rule, you know? I'm going to treat you the way you'd want me to treat. But one thing about Erin is she is a fan of writing, and you can tell by feedback she gives, because if she really likes something, she gets really excited. I would really like the second page. She'll say that, and so it's really a good experience for people.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the event.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue into our next question, which is, how does this event support new writers?
Oh, new writers. I think one of the best things about this event there's a few for new writers. First, a lot of people think of writing as a solitary activity, which it is in some ways, but publishing is not. And being a writer is not a solitary activity. So it really helps you meet other people who are at the same level, and then people who are just a little bit further who can help you know what's the next step. And it's actually very affordable compared to a lot of writing conferences. And so I think for beginning writers especially, who are having trouble like deciding, I'm going to make an investment in myself, because sometimes it feels selfish to people. Even though we invest in ourselves for other careers, we go to college, that costs money. You go to some sort of training, that costs money. But for writing, a lot of people don't feel like they can put that money into themselves because they're not making money yet. And what I like about Rally is that it's a community of people who are really supportive, and it's something that is accessible.
There's an energy there too. A palpable energy that you get, the support. When we start Rally, every time we start it in the morning, we start with something called good news.
Yeah.
And people stand up and I got published this year, or I got an agent this year, or I just finished my first manuscript, or I just finished my 30th manuscript. One of our rally goers and former speaker, just her book just became a movie.
Yes.
And it's going to be on Netflix in March.
Oh.
March 14th.
I don't remember the exact date, but it couldn't happen to a nicer person.
She's amazing. Lori Nelson Spielman, and the book is called The Life List.
And what's so cool is that was published a long time ago, and now it's finally being made into a movie. It was I think probably in the early 2000s.
I was going to say like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
but maybe even longer.
Yeah,
than
maybe
that.
between those two.
She's from Michigan, right?
She's from Lansing.
Lansing.
Lansing local?
Lansing.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
you
that
should
about?
get her on.
Yes. Yes. Did you have something else?
I was just curious what it was about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, The Life List?
Yeah.
Have you read it?
I haven't read it. I actually have owned it since it came out. I'm so
Edit this
slow.
out.
I'm so slow at actually reading books. I had a college roommate recommend a book to me 20 years before I actually read it.
And
she was right. I loved it.
Sometimes you read things at the right time.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. But
there's a season for everything.
It starts after her mother's funeral, right?
Right. I did read it.
Oh.
Well, why'd you ask me? Sorry, Lori.
I did. I did read it. And it starts, yes, right after her mother passes away. And I think, because I read it when it came out, she can't get through the will until she finishes. Her mom found a list of things that she wrote as a kid that she called her life list that she wanted to accomplish, and almost kind of like the bucket list, only I think hers came out first. And so her mom did a recording and said, you won't get these things until you complete these things. And she goes through the list, and it's a really good character arc as she accomplishes these things and finds herself and gains confidence in life. It's a must read, and it'll be a must watch too.
Wow. On Netflix. I'm pretty excited about that. Let's try to get her on.
Yeah.
So that leads me to, what type of writers typically attend the rally?
Gosh, a huge array of people. There's people who write novels, people who write memoirs, poets, nonfiction.
People who've never written a thing.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Short stories.
Short stories, which I still don't get.
Yeah. What about student participation? I see that students can register.
Students can register. We actually have a scholarship for students too.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
And yes, we have had a little bit, our student attendance is actually ticking up. So that's good to see.
Well, I'm going to spread the news.
Please do.
I'm going to spread the news.
Please do.
This is exciting. It really is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so besides a Netflix movie, which is a pretty high bar, are there any other success stories from some writers that have attended?
There's one, Karen Dion, who has also been a rally goer and speaker.
And she's speaking this year, isn't she?
She is. Oh, that's right. She is speaking this year. She is a speaker this year. Yes, her book was made into a feature film, The Marsh King's Daughter, and that played in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many people who've been involved in that. Actually, there's a woman speaking this year, Caitlin Horrocks, who's a GVSU professor whose book, The Vexations, I had read apart from anything else, like just happened to read it because it sounded interesting. And then it turned out that she was a GVSU professor, and I went to GVSU, and I was asked to come speak at her class. And so I'm kind of excited that she's going to be there. She does short stories as well. I don't know. Who else?
Well, I have the brochure. We have, Allison Spooner. We're going to have an entire panel just on indie publishing.
Oh,
yes.
Which I will be part of. And then Karen Dion is also going to talk about traditional publishing. We have an agent this year. Do you know Carrie Howland?
Not personally.
Oh. She's going to be there, and she'll be taking pitches all day long, so people will be able to pitch an
and that's a
agent.
new feature of Rally. There hasn't been an opportunity before to pitch an agent. So that should be something very attractive to people, even if it's just, I want to have practice pitching my book, even if they're not sure if they're going to go that route.
Yep, we have poets from the East Coast, the West Coast of Michigan, and right around here. We have, in fact, poet laureates.
Yeah.
2 Lansing poet laureates. Who else? Sylvia Hubbard, who is a romance writer. We have Nancy Gideon, who is also a romance writer. And there's hardly any business in romance writing.
I looked at some of their conference websites, and it looks like it's popping. I know.
They are. Sections on memoir, short story, which you said. And then craft, we have a teacher coming out of Ann Arbor, Alex Corvo, is doing 2 sessions on craft. So,
interesting.
Quite a. Oh, and of course, another staple is Lev Raphael, who does.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing a session. I really want to get into his session if I can swing it. A session on personal essays. He's published like nearly 200 personal essays.
He's probably more published than anybody else.
Yeah, easily.
Who speaks at Rally.
And he comes to Rally every year.
Yeah, he's great.
Every year. So how has this, speaking of every year, how has this event evolved over the years? Starting from 38 years, right?
Yeah. I wasn't aware of it until like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I got on the board real quick because I really liked it. It has come a long way. I've seen some of the original brochures, and they were like 4 speakers. And,
oh, wow.
And
now you have 4 speakers all at once, right? Because there's 4 tracks.
There's 4.
At
there's
least
5.
5. Okay.
There's 5. Yeah. There's 4 workshop sessions of 5 workshops at a time.
So anybody can find something that they're gonna really like.
Has there always been workshops or keynote speakers or?
There's always been keynote speakers. There's always been workshops.
All right.
Yeah, those are kind of staples.
Way back in the day, there was also an agent too. But
this
will be the first time in many years that we've had an agent come.
Wow.
And I'm assuming from talking to her that she's very interested in sticking with it because we'll see how this one goes. But it is a huge conference. So it's right here in everybody's backyard.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be promoting it. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
I am. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You got anything else?
How about some advice for new writers? What type of advice do you guys have? Or established writers who've been writing forever?
I have 3
Any
things.
Advice?
I have 3 pieces of advice, and then we'll let the master speak. But my 3 pieces are this. Read a lot. A lot. Reading is as important as writing, in my opinion. And read stuff that are not your genre. You know, like if you're really into fantasy, read this book. You know, it's not fantasy, but everything helps and everything gives you a different angle. You know what I mean? Write try to write something every day. Advice that I don't even keep up on, but try to, all right? And then I think the most important is share it. Get into a writer's group. You can write forever, but until you start sharing, you're never going to hone it. You know, you're never going to learn. I got into a writing group where I was just a puppy, and, you know, they would mark up my page like crazy, and then they'd hand it back to me and go, really nice job. You know, thanks. So those are my 3 pieces.
Yeah, I think I would add to that. What I'd like to say is if you are trying to create a career in writing or publishing, you should always expect it to take longer than you think it's going to. And I think the key for so many people is just don't quit, because there'll be a lot of no, especially if you're trying to go a traditional publishing route. You have to get an agent. That's really hard. You have to get a publisher. That's really hard. You have to get readers. That's hard. Some of the readers don't like your stuff and they'll let you know. That's hard. Like there's so many times you'll hear no, or it's not good enough. It's not there yet. But if you quit, you never succeed. You have to stick around until somebody says yes. And there's a reader out there for everything. It's just a matter of finding them. So I like to caution people, like, don't think if it doesn't pop for you right away, you're a bad writer or it's never going to happen. You just have to stick around. I mean, when I started writing seriously, like I'm going to write my own books now, I think it was nearly a decade before I had my first book published. And I was always told as a student, you're a great writer. So I thought, well, this would be easy. But it doesn't. Being a great writer and a great storyteller are 2 different things.
Yeah.
They're two different skills. And you have to learn how to do each of them. So a lot of times you learn in college how to write a really great essay, but you don't learn how to write a novel. That's something that takes too long for any class. So it's something you just got to do.
I like that question. Write that story. I love a good story. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I love a good. When somebody's telling me a story, I'm like, oh, and like, yes. And,
Well,
they,
and especially
they're all
if they're a
dramatic.
good storyteller.
I'm like, oh, yes, tell me more.
Yeah, you're in for it,
yes.
right?
So,
Yeah. But that's a skill not everybody has.
I know it.
But it's something you can learn.
Yeah. I also think it's a gift, too.
Yeah.
I think it's a gift. Alan Marr, you remember Alan Marr?
I do.
Alan Marr told me, I took one of his classes. He said, reading and writing go hand in hand, Robin. So you reminded me of Alan when you said that. Thank you for sharing that nugget for our listeners. Thank you both. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun. Are you? Me too. So where can people find more information and register?
A rallyofwriters.com. It's
All
all
right.
there. No spaces, all lowercase, a rallyofwriters.com.
Wonderful. Oh, my goodness.
And it's April 12th.
Yes.
April 12th, Saturday.
At West Campus.
West Campus, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Well, is there lunch?
And
Yes.
registration includes lunch.
Snacks?
There's a
And
bookstore
there's
there.
snacks. Oh, there is a
there's a
bookstore.
bookstore.
There
is a
are,
bookstore.
and everybody who's doing workshops, if they have books, they'll sign them, they'll talk
Yeah.
to you.
We have an
you know,
author's alley
very
where
friendly.
all the speakers and authors sit
Yeah.
down.
I
And
think I want to go.
You should go.
Can you just go wander?
Oh, we can get in. 'Cause we wouldn't do that, would we?
He's gonna know. He's gonna know.
No, I wouldn't dare go into the sessions, but I might want to go to the bookstore table and buy a book.
there's actually nothing that would keep you from doing that. So,
Yeah, but I wouldn't
or-
dare go into
Or buying a book and having the author sign it. Absolutely, there's nothing that would keep you from doing that.
Yeah.
Go buy some for a leisure reading.
You'll have to hire a bouncer next year, though, for people like this.
I'll be your bouncer because I'll be there for free. No, but we're gonna take some pamphlets to pass out. We
Sure.
want to do that, and I have some community members. I actually just had a friend that just wrote a children's book, and so I want to give this to her because I think that she would really benefit from this space.
We have a children's book dialogue. We got a
Ooh.
middle grade writer,
Mhm.
Christina Wyman, whose book just blew up, her latest book, and Ruth McNally Barshaw, who's a children's book author and illustrator. So there'll be a ton of information at that session for children's book writers.
Do you have a social media page where I can share this with people?
It's a Facebook group
Oh,
for a rally of writers. Yep.
Oh, good. I can share. Okay, perfect. Because that'll be easier for me, I think, too, to share it. Oh my
I
God.
feel inspired to go write.
I know.
If you go to rallyofwriters.com, you can also submit your email address for our newsletter too.
Oh, okay. That'll be good. We need to do that. All righty.
I know. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Anything you want to add?
No, but
Pitch?
we should go right.
Your websites? Your own websites?
Ooh.
Oh,
Where can we
sure.
buy your book?
Yeah, well, my books are wherever books are sold. You can find them.
Target?
Well, you can order them online from Target. They're not in the store. Very few books get in there. No, but I always feel like the best place is a local bookstore. So in Lansing, that might be Hooked. I currently live in Mason. They have bestsellers. That's a great store. Schuler's, anything like that. I always feel like that's the best place to buy them.
Okay.
Support local.
That's right.
Support local. Okay. Yeah. I get it.
And ErinBartels.com, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if you can't spell it, then you can Google it. I'm everywhere.
Okay. You know what we didn't ask? Rob, you wrote a book. You're an author, right?
Mm-hmm. My books you can get at Amazon and Kobo.
Okay.
And
What's the second one?
Kobo?
Never heard of Kobo.
It's just
It's the
Amazon.
library thing, right? Is
No,
Kobo
that's
library?
Libby.
That's Libby. Okay.
Okay.
You can get them on Libby too, but yeah. And my website is rob-edwards.net.
Did you give us the title of your book?
No, he did not.
I know, Erin. Thank
Well,
you.
it's about-
I'm so glad Erin is your friend
It's about
because I'm
both
like,
of you.
yeah,
It's not about me. It's about Rally.
Oh, yeah, okay.
and you're part of it,
I am.
and the
I am.
He's the
president.
face of it.
I have 3 novellas, which are all holiday themed,
Oh, fun.
and I have 2 novels.
Do they have titles?
They do. One's called Prisons,
Ooh,
and the other is called I Do or I Don't.
ooh.
And the first one, Prisons, won a National Indie Excellence Award. And the second one, I Do or I Don't, won second place Best Thriller at the Book Fest. So,
Well, dang.
Rob, you are so humble.
He is,
Because you
isn't
gave, you gave your friend like the platform, and you're amazing.
but I never won a Michigan Notable Book.
Well, so
Oh,
what?
it
I never
doesn't
won either
matter.
of those.
This is great. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And Rob, I know all your books had really good reviews online. So, and that says something.
It sure does.
We've looked at Goodreads a lot, trust me. Okay. So thank you, Rob and Erin, for sharing this space with us today.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having
Yeah.
us.
We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
very
us.
Yes.
You have been listening to Written in the Stars, Books and Beyond. Visit lcc.edu/library to find the titles discussed in this episode. You can find previous episodes of Written in the Stars and other LCC Connect shows at lccconnect.com. In the words of Miguel de Amuno, I hope, reader, we shall meet again and we shall recognize each other.